This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always and especially at the moment, I do hope you're well. Now, a few videos ago I had a bit of a rant, which I'm sure you probably saw. The 5 songs that I never, ever need to hear again. And this is kind of the opposite video to that today. These are the 5 songs or pieces of music that I will never, ever tire of hearing. So, let's crack straight on with the first one.
So What? By Miles Davis.
Yes, indeed. So What by Miles Davis, the opening track from his 1959 album, Kind of Blue. Now, this was, I think I'm right in saying, probably the first album I bought that didn't have a guitarist on it. It was about the early 90s, and I was deciding I should kind of widen my palette a little bit, broaden my musical horizons, take the blinkers off, if you like. You know, start listening to artists other than Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Carlos Santana and Gary Moore, plus a few, you know, the rest of the usual suspects. And I've been kind of dabbling with a little bit of jazz and trying to kind of get my head around it for a while, but that was mainly kind of the more jazz rock fusion-y sort of stuff. This was the first kind of proper jazz album that I bought, and it just it blew me away, really, especially like the opening track, because that is the track that gives you the first impression, and first impressions count. Just the lyrical fluent quality that all of this album has, but especially that one track there, So What. It's got that quality that a couple of the tunes that I'm going to be talking about in this list today have, where you actually feel like you're in the room with the musicians. You can sense the eye contact going on, and that is just something that I love. Just the whole interplay between, I mean, you know, obviously you've got Miles on trumpet, but you've got, you know, Cannonball Adderley on alto sax and John Coltrane on tenor sax, and just the improvised lines that it just weaves a captivating web, and I will never, ever tire of hearing it. Next.
Penny Lane by the Beatles.
Okay, this is a song that is almost exactly the same age as me. It's a few months younger, but I think it's aging considerably better than I am, let's put it that way. I just have lots and lots of very early childhood memories of hearing this song and just thinking of it as, you know, a catchy little happy song that made me feel nice and happy inside. But, you know, any kind of catchy pop tune can do that for you, but I think it's the fact that when you put this song under the microscope and realise just how complex it is, there's a Howard Goodall documentary about the Beatles, which I'll link to in the description, where he really does go into some detail about why this song is so musically clever. In terms of, you know, I mean, using a piccolo trumpet, because Paul McCartney had been influenced by Bach's Brandenburg concertos and wanted that sound on his song, and the way it modulates and changes key, you know, several times over its course, and which direction it's changing key, and the counterpoint involved and everything. All of these things, all of these clever little touches that didn't happen by accident, all go towards, you know, creating something that, frankly, I will never ever tire of hearing, because it's got that inbuilt longevity in it. I think it's got that sort of, you know, there's always something new to catch your interest. And the way it does all of this clever stuff is the way that I like clever music to behave. It's kind of doing it in a way that it's not wearing its technique on its sleeve. It's not kind of saying, look at me, how clever I am. It's concealed so that you don't notice it. It's I'm not a big fan of music that is overtly clever, where it's kind of essentially people just demonstrating their chops and playing to the gallery. This is just a song that's clever but doesn't kind of shout about it, which is very much how I like music to be. And as a result, I will never, ever tire of hearing it. Next.
Key to the Highway by Eric Clapton.
Yeah, Key to the Highway. This comes from the Derek and the Dominoes album, Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs, and it's just an object lesson in how to make 3 chords last for 9 minutes and 40 seconds and never sound boring. Eric was going through a difficult emotional time at the time he recorded this. You know, it's well documented, his kind of unrequited love for Patty Boyd, George Harrison, his best friend's wife at the time. And there is very much the sense that when you're listening to this, that he is getting a lot of frustration out of his system. Every single note that he plays is absolutely turbocharged with emotion and power, and you know, it's just he's getting it all out and just ripping it out of his innards and putting it there on the tape for us to hear. It's like that Miles Davis track. This is another one where you feel like you're in the room with the band, and again sensing the eye contact. And you know, let's not forget, I mean, we think of this as an Eric Clapton tune, but I think it's an Eric Clapton Duane Allman duet, because the jamming between those two guys on this track is just absolutely magical. And once again, I will never, ever tire of listening to it. Next.
Nimrod by Edward Elgar.
Okay, Nimrod from Elgar's Enigma Variations. Perhaps it's something of an odd bedfellow, considering the rest of the tunes on this list, but what can I tell you? I like it. It comes from that same sort of period of my life when I was deciding to broaden my horizons a little bit and, branch out and start listening to other styles of music. Now, I'd had classical music sort of force-fed to me at school, as I'm sure a lot of us did. And that kind of made me rebel against it a little bit. I wasn't interested in classical music as a result. And then I sort of decided that, perhaps, I'm calling myself a musician. Perhaps I should be listening to and taking notice of more styles of music, which is, as I say, what I was doing round about that period of my life, nearly 30 years ago now. Dear me, doesn't time fly? And I just love this piece of music. I used to hear it, well, I still do hear it. It's played at the service of remembrance at the Cenotaph on Remembrance Sunday every year. And perhaps it's those connotations that it's got to it, but it's just such an emotionally charged, powerful piece of music. It's haunting, and I cannot listen to it without just getting goosebumps and just, the hairs on the back of your neck standing up, and it just makes me come over all emotional in a way that I can't really, as you can see, put into words particularly well. And that for me is, if a piece of music does that for you, then that is, the mark of a truly great piece of music. And certainly this is one that I will never, ever tire of hearing. Next.
Cliffs of Dover by Eric Johnson.
And so we come to the last one on the list today, Cliffs of Dover by Eric Johnson. Now, like a lot of guitarists who that I discovered them through the pages of guitar magazines in the late 80s and, early 90s. And, you read about these players, but you would walk into your local record shop, which was like Woolworths, and if it wasn't in the top 40, then they probably didn't have it on the racks. But for some reason, or luckily I should say, one day I walked into my local branch of HMV, I think it was, and saw this Via Musicom album on the rack in there, and I thought, yeah, I got it. That's the one I've been reading about in the magazine. It was like, I was kind of elbowing people out of the way to make sure nobody bought it before me. And got it home, put it on, listened to it, and, not quite the first track, because the first track is just a bit of a sort of a soundscape, ambient kind of thing. But then it kind of just slams into Cliffs of Dover. And I'd never heard anything like it, I'd heard melodic guitar, I'd heard shredding guitar, but I'd never really heard that kind of combination of complete virtuoso control of an instrument and speedy, flashy licks, but with, playing something that was essentially just a catchy melody. Again, it goes back to that thing that I was talking about with the Beatles tune, where it's clever, but the cleverness isn't the point of the piece of music. It's, the cleverness is there to serve a musical idea rather than being, look at me, aren't I clever? And again, just the fluency and the lyrical quality that is in Eric Johnson's playing on this. The way, when you listen to it, he never plays the same lick the same way twice. So you've got like the main melody and then there's the B section melody. Take a listen to the tune. You never hear him play the same thing just as a repeat of the previous chorus or the previous verse. He's always throwing little variations in, and there's an inexhaustible vocabulary that he's drawing upon there, and it's just utterly magical. It's even me mother, when she was alive, bless her, would say, I like that one, it's got a tune to it. And, it's just, again, it's got that indefinable something that means that it's a piece of music that I will never, ever tire of listening to. So there you go. Those are the 5 pieces of music that I will never ever tire of listening to. I'd be interested in knowing what yours are, if they coincide with any of my choices, or if you disagree with any of my choices. Feel free to say so in the comments. I suspect there will be a few people taking me to task over a couple of these. I won't tell you which ones, but anyway, that's pretty much it for today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and maybe it's given you some music to go and check out. I hope it has. And don't forget the Fret Zealot giveaway that's going on this channel at the moment. There's basically a couple of my courses available on the Fret Zealot app. The tuition device that's the little LED thing that goes on your guitar, lights up and tells you where to put your fingers. Well, 2 of my courses, Play Lead Guitar the Easy Way and Making the Modes Easy, are currently available on the Fret Zealot app. And to celebrate, we're having a giveaway. All you got to do to be entered into the draw is make a donation of £5 or more to Zoe's Place Baby Hospice, a charity in Middlesbrough which does fantastic work with very ill young children. Make your donation, screenshot the receipt, send it to me at this email address that you can see on screen, which is also in the description as well, and you're entered into the draw. I'll be drawing the winner on the 7th of May and announcing the winner shortly thereafter. And if you're not lucky enough to win, don't worry, you can still get a Fret Zealot a little bit cheaper thanks to me. You're welcome. All you got to do is use the discount code on screen. There's a link in the description to where you can purchase a Fret Zealot. Use that discount code. You'll get a little bit of money knocked off and get it a little bit cheaper. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Don't forget, 5 p.m. Friday, that's tomorrow, UK time, we're having a live stream. It's just basically having a beer, having a chat, having a laugh. It'll be great fun. I've done it the past couple of weeks, and it seems to have gone down rather well, and people have enjoyed it, and so have I. So we're doing it all over again this week. And with that, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Stay well, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time around. Bye for now, folks.